This video is sponsored by PTCGLstore.com, a great place for you to buy Pokemon TCG code cards. Please remember to use my code KNIGHT22 at checkout so that you can get a 5% discount. Before going into the video, please take a second to click that like button, and we're on the road to getting 9,000 subscribers to this channel, so please subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you all so much for all of your support, and I hope you guys are enjoying the content I put out in this channel. In today's video, I'll be showcasing Iron Hands EX from the Paradox Rift expansion set. Iron Hands EX is a future Pokemon, and this is a really great Pokemon to have in a variety of decks. The reason is because of its second attack, Amp You very much. For 1 lightning and 3 colorless energies, it deals 120 damage. However, if you knock out a Pokemon with this attack, you can take one more prize. What's great about this attack is that it has no drawbacks whatsoever. The only downside to it is that the attack cost is pretty high, and it only deals 120 damage. But despite the low damage output, this still allows you to take 2 prizes against a low HP 1 prize Pokemon. And for the most part, I don't think this Pokemon is great as a main attacker unless you're hitting for weakness, but it certainly is a great backup for certain matchups. With that said, I really wanted to pair this with one of my favorite decks to play in the ladder. So today I'll be showcasing this with Chien Pao EX paired with Alolan Vulpix VSTAR. Naturally, we'll be using Baxcalibur to power up Iron Hands EX and all of our attackers. It has a super cold ability. As often as you like during your turn, you may attach a basic water energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon. And despite it being a stage 2 Pokemon, you can easily set this up with the help of Irida. This allows you to find 1 water type Pokemon and 1 item card such as the rare candy from your deck. So as long as you have Frigibax in play, you can easily evolve it into Baxcalibur. As for our main attackers, of course we have Chien Pao EX. It has the Shivery Chill ability. Once during your turn, if this is in the active spot, you can search your deck for up to 2 basic water energy and put them into your hand. And you'll need this ability to stack your energy so that you can deal big damage with its attack, Hail Blade. For 2 water energies, you may discard any amount of basic water energies attached to any of your Pokemon, and this attack deals 60 damage for each energy you discarded this way. This attack is so strong that it has the potential to one-hit knock out any Pokemon in the game. Our next attacker is Alolan Vulpix VSTAR, and I'm using this mostly for its attack, Snow Mirage. For 1 water and 2 colorless energy, it deals 160 unblockable damage, ignoring any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. And during your opponent's next turn, you prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from Pokemon that has an ability. For most matchups, the effect of this attack makes Alolan Vulpix VSTAR invincible to attacks. And lastly, I have Radiant Greninja. It has the ability Concealed Cards. If you discard an energy from your hand, you can draw 2 cards. This is great for consistency, and it also has a great attack. For 2 water and 1 colorless energy, Moonlight Shuriken deals 90 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. I am using Bibarel as my main draw engine. This just makes this deck a lot more consistent. As for the other cards worth noting, I have 1 copy of Earthen Vessel. By discarding 1 card from your hand, you can search your deck for up to 2 basic energies. This is helpful for finding the lightning energy that we need for Iron Hands EX. And since we'll be discarding energies because of Chien Pao EX's attack, having a few superior energy retrieval is essential. By discarding 2 cards from your hand, you can put up to 4 basic energies from your discard pile back to your hand. As for stadiums, I have 2 copies of Skater Spark. This will allow you to put the basic energy cards from your retreating Pokemon into your hand instead of discarding them. This will help you to preserve your energies. What I really like about this deck is its versatility. You can easily power up your attacks with Baxcalibur. You can block a lot of attacks with Alolan Vulpix VSTAR. You can deal one-hit knockouts with Chien Pao EX, and you can take extra prizes with Iron Hands EX. Together, these cards can lead you to victory. Anyways, that's pretty much it. You can find the complete deck list in the description below. And now please enjoy the following gameplay videos showcasing Iron Hands EX. Alright, on to our first match. My opponent won the coin flip, so they've decided to go first. We're gonna start with Radiant Greninja in the active and a Bidoof on the bench. Lugia VSTAR, alright. Lugia VSTAR is actually weak against lightning, so we might be able to use Iron Hands EX a lot more in this matchup. We get 1 extra card from their mulligan, and we got Frigibax. Dude, that is awesome. This is a perfect start for us, actually. So my opponent is going to start with a Lugia V in their active spot. I think it is typical for Lugia VSTAR builds to start first. That way, on their second turn, they can evolve and then set up their Archeops and then start accelerating energies that way. But they're just going to pass. Alright. We got Iron Hands EX from our top deck. That's actually pretty cool. We can't evolve any of our Pokemon right now, so let me use concealed cards first. Draw 2. And nothing. I'll just put 1 energy just so we can retreat if we need to. And I'm going to use a Yono. Just maximize my setup here. Alright, this is actually a really good hand. Alolan Vulpix V will be of great help in this matchup, because a lot of their Pokemon definitely have abilities, so we can negate a lot of attacks. We got Rare Candy and an Ultra Ball. We could evolve into a Baxcalibur next turn, but with no other support cards to help us draw extra cards, I might just get a Barrel with this Ultra Ball. But I'll just preserve my other cards because we need to discard 2 extra cards to use our Ultra Ball. So that's the plan for our next turn. Hopefully my opponent doesn't shuffle it up, because we have a pretty good hand going into our next turn. So now they've set up Snorlax on their bench that can hit for 180 damage. However, because it has an ability, Alolan Vulpix VSTAR can actually negate that attack. Alright, so with the Capturing Aroma, my opponent gets a Lugia V to set up on their bench. And they got heads on their second one, so that will get them Lugia V-Star, yep. And now they have to just set up their Archeops on their discard pile, and they can put those into play. And sure enough, they have all the cards that they needed for this turn. Professor Burnett will discard 2 cards from their discard, or from their deck to their discard pile, and that's gonna get them 2 Archeops. And now with Summoning Star, the V-Star ability of Lugia will be able to set up 2 colorless Pokemon from their discard pile straight to their bench. And even Archeops is stage 2, they can easily set it up. Now they can use Primal Turbo to accelerate up to 2 special energies to one of their Pokemon. And since they've already used up their support card, they can't really boss any of our other Pokemon, so most likely they're just gonna knock out a Radiant Greninja. Therapeutic Energy, alright. Tempest Dive deals 200 damage to our Radiant Greninja, knocking it out. So now what we need to do is set up our Alolan Vulpix V-Star. Hopefully we can get all the energies we need here. Bidoof, okay, let me evolve first into Alolan Vulpix. And then use Ultra Ball, get rid of these 2. Get a Barrel first. That's the most important thing, because even if we evolve into Baxcalibur and can't draw into extra cards, we're just gonna lose this game. So we're gonna draw 3 cards. We got a Iono, alright, and a Baxcalibur, dude. Let's go. We have 3 cards in the discard pile. I could use Superior Energy Retrieval and then just discard these 2 other cards. That way I can start attacking this turn and then prevent any damage done to our Alolan Vulpix V-Star. So with Baxcalibur, we're going to use Super Cold to accelerate these 3 water energies onto Alolan Vulpix V-Star. And we're going to use Snow Mirage to deal 160 damage. And then during my opponent's turn, any of their Pokemon with abilities on them cannot deal any damage to our Vulpix. So I took that chance. We could have used Iono, but that will not guarantee that we will have all the energies we need to accelerate to Vulpix. So I think that was a good move, or the best move that could be done that turn. And even though we don't have any cards at the end of our turn, we can just draw them with our Barrel in our next turn. So now my opponent has to decide here what they need to do. Alright, they have Fire and Lightning energies in their deck as well. Wonder what type of Fire type Pokemon they use in this deck. Or Lightning, for that matter. But we have a pretty good setup. Iron Hands EX, all we need is a Lightning energy to power it up. And then a bunch more water energies. And then just get one of those Archeops or even this Lugia VSTAR and be able to get 3 prizes off of it. Since we've already weakened it, we can just easily knock it out and get 3 prizes. So now my opponent has to decide here. Again, their Lugia VSTAR cannot damage our Alolan Vulpix VSTAR. So I assume they're just going to use their Lugia V on their bench because that one doesn't have any abilities. That can deal some damage to our Alolan Vulpix. But I don't think it deals enough damage to actually knock out our Vulpix. So we should be okay this turn. We should survive a turn. And then go from there. So I think that's what they're doing. Powering up their Lugia V. They can just easily retreat this V-Star and start attacking with Lugia V. Okay, there's the retreat into Lugia V. But with a double turbo energy, that's actually going to lower their attack. So 110, we can actually survive 3 attacks from this Lugia V. We got rare candy from our top deck. We're going to draw 4. We got a boss's orders, dude. And a Chien Pao EX. This is actually really, really good. What I could do is boss their Lugia V-Star into the active spot, get 3 prizes for that, or no, 2 prizes for that. But I'm thinking once we cripple them a little bit, I'm just going to target one of their Archeops. Because we can knock it out with Vulpix attack, dealing 160. And then we're immune to their damage. We can survive an attack from Lugia V. And their Lugia V-Star cannot damage our Alolan Vulpix. So we'll get 1 prize for that, but that significantly cripples Lugia V-Star because now they only have 1 energy accelerator on their board. And setting up another Archeops is close to impossible with this deck. So when you actually take care of both their Archeops, they are pretty much crippled, and then they can't really attack consistently because they're going to be relying on energy attachment per turn. And they're also using Iron Hands EX. Yes, that's actually one of the other options that you can put Iron Hands EX this build, because as long as you have a way to accelerate those 3 colorless energies to Iron Hands EX, it can fit in any of those decks. So for now, they're just going to attack with Lugia V, and they can actually take 3 prizes off of our Alolan Vulpix with their Iron Hands EX, because that one doesn't have any abilities on them. But for now, I'm gonna use Earthen Vessel to finally get my basic lightning energy to power up my Iron Hands EX. Thankfully, it was not prized. And let's see, I might be able to attack and knock out their Lugia V actually. If I retreat my Alolan Vulpix, that will go into the discard pile. So 1, 2, and then we have a 3rd energy. Yeah, we might actually be able to power up our Iron Hands EX fully. So let me go ahead and do that. And then since we're hitting 120, double that, 240 should be able to knock out this Lugia V, and that can get us 3 prizes right there. Okay, cool. So now what we can do is use Super Cold to accelerate these 3 water energies to Iron Hands EX. And then I'm just going to put these 2 back. I mean, I could put all 3, I guess, but let me just put 2. We don't really need the other one. And then we can use Industrious Incisors to draw extra cards. Another Alolan Vulpix. Let's see what we got. Manaphy, and yeah, we couldn't evolve into a Bibarel anyways until we get that as a prize. So Manaphy could help in this matchup in case they have any bench snipers. And then what I'm gonna do is just get a Chien Pao to be able to attack for to deal one-hit knockout if we need to, right? So we're gonna use Amp You very much. That will deal 240 damage against Lugia V, and that's gonna get us 3 prizes. That is insane. That's crazy. I guess in these types of matchups, Iron Hands EX is really great, especially if you can hit for weakness. But it's also really great against one prize matchups, because one prizer builds usually rely on being able to get ahead in the prize exchange, especially if they can grab multiple prizes while your deck cannot, because you're only taking one prize at a time. So Iron Hands EX can definitely turn the tides if they can get an extra prize each time you knock one of their single prize Pokemon. But so far, we just need 2 more prizes to go. A lot of their attackers are 2 prizers, except for this Snorlax. They will deal 180 or less actually because of the double turbo energy, reducing their attack. Iron Hands EX will survive an attack. And if we can find a boss orders, I could target either Lugia VSTAR or even that Archeops hit for weakness with Iron Hands EX to win us the game. Or if anything, I could just power up my Chien Pao EX and deal a lot of damage regardless. Luminion V, okay. They could get a boss orders to get my Alolan Vulpix. There's the boss. Or they could actually target my Chien Pao too. But Alolan Vulpix, I think, is the best option. Professor Burnett, what? Oh, I'm not sure if they misclicked there, but that wasn't what I expected. Alright, they're gonna deal 160 damage to our Iron Hands EX. Their Snorlax is immune to sleep because it has therapeutic energy. Irida could just thin out my deck. Maybe I can draw into a boss orders or something. Let's see, we have one. Alright, we have one boss orders. If not, I could just try and knock out the Snorlax and another Pokemon next turn. Again, I'm going to thin out my hand a little bit here. Put an energy to Chien Pao and then draw 4 with my Industrious Incisors. And there it is! The boss's orders! That's gonna be game! So I'm just gonna get this Archeops. Amp You very much for 2 for the win. And there's the scoop. Yep. Yeah, Iron Hands EX can actually turn the tides pretty well. Very good game. Alright, on to our next match. We have 2 Frigibacks. So I'll just put this one with the 1 retreat cost in the active and the other one on the bench. And we are going first in this matchup. I do prefer going first with this build since we have stage 2 Pokemon that we need to evolve into. And okay, first things first is to really set up your draw engine, since a lot of the cards we have in our hand is really horrible right now. So Bidoof is definitely our first priority here. And then we can use our other Ultra Ball next turn to get a Big Barrel. Then we can use Irida to get a Baxcalibur line started on our next turn. So my opponent's going to start with a Luminion V in their active spot. Alright. And I think we're going against Roaring Moon. This is a little bit scary. There's a Battle VIP pass. 2 Roaring Moon EX. Alright, this is pretty scary. So if you didn't know, Roaring Moon EX can be very explosive. It can attack on its first turn going second. There is a possibility to fully energize it and start knocking out things. Thankfully, we don't have any 2 prize Pokemon on our board that they can target, so we might lose this Frigibacks in the active spot, but at least we'll have another one reserved that we can evolve into. And like I said, that's one of the most important cards in this build, is that Baxcalibur line, because we need to be able to power up our Pokemon to hit for a lot of damage with Chien Pao EX, even Iron Hands EX. But they're going to use Escape Rope. Thankfully, we have 2 Frigibacks. There's the Mew in the active. They can just easily retreat that. And I think they're just thinning out their hand here. No, they're just gonna use Professor's Research. Alright. They have 1 energy that they can accelerate with Dark Patch. Okay, there's the energy attachment for turn. Earthen Vessel to discard another energy. And then they can get up to 2 basic energies from their deck. And then all they have to do is find those Dark Patches to accelerate energies to their Roaring Moon EX. Retreat with Mew. And then get a knockout against our active Pokemon. So winning against this matchup, I think as long as we can get ahead in the price exchange, we should be fine. We have boss orders, but nothing to show for it. But you know what? They're actually presenting a lot of Pokemon weak to Lightning. So we can take care of that Squawkabilly, their Luminion V, even their Radiant Greninja. We can knock those out. Get an extra prize with Iron Hands EX. As long as we don't lose our Iron Hands EX to their Roaring Moon. But there it is. 1 Roaring Moon EX fully energized. Just as the doctor ordered. Now they can take a knockout against our Frigibacks. Even if they use their second attack, it's going to be enough damage to knock it out. Calamity Storm deals 100 damage. That's gonna give my opponent their first prize. Let me put Frigibacks in the active first. And then see what we get. Another Irida. Okay, we can sacrifice one of those. And then I'll get my Bibarel first. See what we could do here. So if we attack with the 2-prizer, they could just one-hit knock out our Pokemon. Alolan Vulpix VSTAR is not gonna be useful against this matchup because Roaring Moon doesn't have any abilities, so not a good idea. So I'm gonna go with Chien Pao EX. I think I'm gonna try and be aggressive in this matchup, and as long as I can, I guess, be able to keep a lineup of attackers, we can just knock out 3 of their Roaring Moon or one of their 2 prize supporters and be able to win this game. We have Rare Candy. I could get another item card here, so I mean, I could set up another Chien Pao. Maybe Radiant Greninja will not be that much of help. Just get a Nest Ball. That's fine. I might just have to set up another Chien Pao. But Iron Hands EX could be great. Radiant Greninja is really great too. So I'm gonna go with that. That way I can draw 2 extra cards with this basic energy. But I'll need that to retreat, right? We go ahead and retreat to Chien Pao EX. I can draw 2 from the deck with Shivery Chill. And then I can use Greninja to draw 2 extra cards. So I'm taking a risk here, but hopefully I can get something. Alright, we got Superior Energy. That's actually really useful. So let's go ahead and evolve into a Baxcalibur. And then we have 2 energies in the deck. Okay, I think I'll just have to sacrifice Irida and Vulpix, get 2 prizes, and then what I could do, is just damage this Roaring Moon enough. So even if they use the instant knockout, we can actually... That's actually gonna knock out their Roaring Moon along with our Chien Pao, because when they use the instant knockout, that will deal 200 damage to their attacker. So I'm just going to put these 3 energies, and then I can put 220. 120 should be enough, right? Because if they attack, they'll get 200 damage, so that's 320. That's more than enough to knock them out. So I don't need to sacrifice any more energies. I'm gonna go with that 120 damage. But the only problem is if they use their second attack, right? I already discarded my Bravery Charm, so I can't add any more HP to this Chien Pao EX. So this could be a problem. If they find a stadium to put into play, they can attack for 220 damage with this Roaring Moon EX. Okay, so they've used up 2 of their dark patches, so I mean their board is pretty filled, right? They only have 2 attackers. If we can take care of both of these Roaring Moons, we should be okay. And then we'll just take an extra prize or something like that with one of their weaker Pokemon that Iron Hands EX can take care of, right? So there's the Pokestop Calamity Storm. Will deal 220 damage, and that will preserve their Roaring Moon alive. That stadium discard allowed their attack to deal 220 damage. Alright, so... Alright, that's very unfortunate now. So with this Nest Ball, I could just get another Chien Pao maybe. Just get Iron Hands, that's fine. I was thinking now I should have just gave it all I got to deal damage to this, because it would have been within knockout range, I think, for our Iron Hands to knock it out and get an extra prize. But it's too late now. What do you got here? 2 energies, Earthen Vessel. Alright. Anyways, we need to get that Lightning Energy out in play, because Earthen Vessel is the only one that can... Only item card that we can use to find it. Muse Iono. Okay, we got Superior Energy Retrieval, which is good. And a Chien Pao. I could take a knockout against this Roaring Moon EX. At least match their prize, because they have 3 left. If they knock out our Chien Pao, that will lead them to 1. But again, with their board so filled with support Pokemon that they can't use, they might not be able to have another attacking Pokemon to power up, especially their dark patches are gone. So with the Superior Energy Retrieval, I'm just gonna get these 4 energies from my discard pile, and then with 5 cards, let's see here, could use Super Rod. Let me use Shivery Chill. We have 1 basic energy left, another Boss Orders, and there's the Lightning Energy that we could use onto our Iron Hands. And 170, so we only need 3 Water Energies to knock out this Roaring Moon. And with 3 cards on their hand, maybe they can't set up their other Roaring Moon. So I'm just gonna bank on that, see what happens, and I'm gonna power up my Iron Hands EX. Maybe we can target one of their lightning weak Pokemon. And for now, I'm just gonna recover these cards here, just in case they target my Baxcalibur or something like that. So I'm gonna use Hail Blade, and I'm just going to get rid of the 3 energies onto my Chien Pao EX, knocking out their Roaring Moon. And that's gonna get us our first 2 prizes. And there's the Earthen Vessel. Alright, very good. So we can actually attack with Iron Hands EX now on our next turn. So I'm just hoping that they don't have the cards they need to power up their Roaring Moon. We could possibly survive another turn here. Maybe knock out this Mew EX. Okay, Earthen Vessel gets them 2 extra cards. Another Roaring Moon, okay. Actually, Iron Hands EX can survive an attack. If we can damage one of their Roaring Moon for 120, even 120 can make a big difference. Because they'll have to use the instant knockout that will damage their Roaring Moon, and it will knock themselves out. And even if we have to go overtime, we might have to do that to win against our opponent if we need to. But if they go second on overtime or sudden death, they could win it. So we'll have to see how we can turn the tides in this match. Hopefully we don't have to go overtime, but with a stadium in play, they can easily retreat their Mew EX. They just need 1 more energy on their Roaring Moon EX to attack and knock out our Chien Pao. And there's no way we can go overtime because once they only need 1 prize left, all they need to do is, even if they knock themselves out, they'll get their last prize to win it. 4 is Sealstone, dude. So they can get them any card. Unless one of them is prized, dude. If one of them is prized, we are good. We are good to go. But with the dark patches dwindling down and no way for them to recover those, we might be able to survive a few more turns if they cannot power up their other Roaring Moon EX. And there's the last dark patch. I believe that's the last one. Yes, it is. Okay. So I think we're good. As long as we can take care of this Roaring Moon EX, we should be fine. But what are the chances we can knock it out? Oh, dude. We need a Chien Pao EX to take care of it, knock it out, and then go from there. We need to recover our energies. We need to draw 1. We got a switch. Okay, a switch. Mew Super Cold to put it onto this guy. Earthen Vessel to get Lightning Energy to put on Iron Hands. And then we're gonna use Iono. Alright, so they're down to 1 last card. And we got a Nest Ball. Alright, Chien Pao EX could actually win us here. Skater Spark will allow us to retreat, put this card back to our hand, and now we can use Shivery Chill. Dude, with 5 water energies, we can actually knock out this Roaring Moon EX. That is crazy. This is really close. Okay, let's go ahead and use Hail Blade, knock out this Roaring Moon EX, but that will mean that we have to discard all of our basic water energies in play. Dealing 300 damage, getting us 2 more prizes. Okay, another basic energy is good. And then we have Irida. All we need to do is recover energies, so we can either use Chien Pao to knock out their 2-prizer to win this game. But we should have another superior energy retrieval in the deck. So could use Irida to grab one of those. But as far as I know, my opponent really can't accelerate any more energies. They used up their Professor Sada's Vitality already to accelerate energy, attach for turn. But if they have no access to Dark Patch or anything to put an energy to their other Roaring Moon, we should be safe. They don't have any other attackers other than this Roaring Moon EX on their bench. So if we can survive this turn, we might be able to win it. But oh, we have an escape rope. Go ahead and use Irida to get my last superior energy retrieval and get a Chien Pao. Might as well. And I'll use escape rope. It depends on what Pokemon my opponent puts in the active spot. We could use Iron Hands EX or Chien Pao to get a knockout. So even if they put that Radiant Greninja in the active spot, we can actually hit for weakness with Iron Hands EX. Even though we need 2 prizes, there it is. I think we got this. Let's go ahead and discard these 2 cards. Get 4 energies from our discard pile. Just power up our Iron Hands EX, and that's why Iron Hands EX is great addition to this build. Even if your opponent presents a single prize Pokemon in their active spot, you can easily just knock it out and get 2 prizes to win it. So 130, thankfully it is weak to lightning. 240 damage, amp you very much, knocks out this Radiant Greninja, gaining us not 1 but 2 prizes to win the game against this Roaring Moon EX. Man, that was a really close one, dude. But we got it thanks to Iron Hands EX and Chien Pao. Good game. And that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please don't forget to smash the like button for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching the Popsicleknight channel, and as always, stay safe and have a great day.